About 2 years ago, God put it on my heart to be a kidney donor. I had to lose 30 pounds. I actually ended up losing 40. That was very difficult for me. It took me a little bit over a year to get to where I could donate, and they finally called me one day. I'd had to go through all kinds of testing, blood tests, scans, you name it. And they called and told me, said, okay, you're now a qualified, certified donor. What do you want to do? I said, well, I don't know. God didn't tell me that part.
I was at work one day and the doctor tells me, he says, I'm really concerned what's going on. He said, you have what they call it, EFG, which is basically kidney function of 13%.
One night I was sitting at home and I was watching the news on TV, and I don't watch the news, okay? I really don't like watching the news, but just I was sitting there and that just happened to be what came on. And they had a news story about Jerry.
Well, after my daughter, she is contacting the news stations and getting my story out there, I was flooded with calls of potential donors or asking what they can do.
So I reached out to my donation coordinator at UAB, and I asked her, I said, can I be a donor for Jerry? Called me back a few days later and said, yeah, you can donate to Jerry. What would you like to do? I said, let's go.
The coordinator said that we had a donor and that the blood type tissue markers were a great fit. Would I be interested in that donation?
Jerry and I had never met. We both work in local law enforcement, but we had never worked together. I don't believe we'd ever even seen each other.
And I found it was a fellow brother in law enforcement. It just made, it really, it just made my heart melt and happy, because we say that we're always there for one another, that, if you need something, just call me.
A lot of people have asked me, why did you do this? Well, God doesn't make mistakes. God told me this is what I was supposed to do. It was very important that I do it. And I have no doubt, knowing what I know then and now, if the shoe had been on the other foot, Jerry absolutely would have done it for me.
Well, what Lieutenant House did was very unselfish to give of himself, not only to help our community, but he also helped the community of Vestavia, to give of himself to this officer to help that community, to help Jefferson County by saying, hey, this officer is continuing to serve his community because Mike House gave of him to be able to help prolong his life.
Oh, I'd give him a hug every single day. There's nothing, the man saved my life. He gave me his kidney, and I'm sure that took a lot, but he gave me times with my family, my grandbabies, everything. He gave me my world back.
Law enforcement, we have a lot of things that we do spur of the moment. Things that happen, things that we see, things that we have to respond to. And we do what we have to do. And this was really no different than that. Somebody needed something to live. And I was very lucky to be able to help with that.
On December 6, 2023, I had my transplant. And I couldn't walk around the grocery store prior to that. And just the other day, in the Woodhaven subdivision, if you know that Haley subdivision, I walked 5 miles, 2 months post-transplant. And so my life has been amazing, and it's a miracle.
We all, I believe, have the power and the ability to help other people in a very big way. I believe that God gives us that ability. I think that there's a lot of bad in the world, there's a lot of negative in the world, and it's easy to be overcome with all that negativity. But pick one person and do something for that person that greatly affects their life in a positive way. So do what you wish you could do for everybody, do for that one person. And if everybody would just do that, I think in a very short time this will be a much better world.